Oh, hi, and welcome to Gene's Corner. What just an exciting week. I can't believe how fast the summer is going with College Week and homecoming. Homecoming gets me every time. The floats are just so beautiful, and the demonstrations. It's just an awesome thing to see every year. It just knocks me for a loop. But I'm thinking about the 90th year, and a lot of us are going to be going home at the end of the summer or going traveling at the end of the summer. Some of us are leaving after visiting day. And when you get home, somebody's going to say, what did you do during the summer? And you can say, I went to Camp Echo. And the very first question somebody's going to ask is, how did Camp Echo get its name? Makes sense. And it's a very interesting story. I happen to have been reading about it in the camp history book. And I was there when Camp Echo got its name. That's 90 years. 90 years since Mr. Fishbein, the original owner, bought this place from the government. It was a scientific research center. Many of you know that. It was a scientific research center to study insects. And Mr. Fishbein bought it to turn it into a camp. And he needed a name for his camp, and he was trying to find a name. He happened to be very upset. His friend, Mr. Cohen, had a camp, and it had an Indian name, Camp Nihak. And Mr. Fishbein figured out that Nihak is Cohen spelled backwards. And he was trying to find an Indian name for his camp, and he would walk around going, Nightfish, Scheibniv, could not come up with a name for his camp. And one day, the Seletsky brothers, Harry and Albert, they were little guys, some of you may remember them, and they went over to Mr. Fishbein. They were twins. Their mother had packed their father's underwear in their luggage. And when they got to camp and tried to get dressed, the underwear was too big. And so they ran over to Mr. Fishbein and said, Mr. Fishbein, that was Harry. Albert was always behind him, and Albert would imitate. He would be behind, go, Mr. Fishbein. And Harry would go, Mr. Fishbein, underpants, too big underpants. My father's underpants, big underpants. And behind him, little Albert was going, big underpants. And Mr. Fishbein didn't even see them. He was so short. And he says, I hear an echo. And Dave Brand and I were just walking past, and Dave Brand is just so perceptive, and he said, that's it, that's the name for your camp. Mr. Fishbein thought for a second, and he says, kid, you're right, I like that, Camp Big Underpants. And Dave says, no, Camp Echo, that's the name for the camp. Mr. Fishbein says, you know, kid, you're a smart kid, you're right. Going to call it Camp Echo, and someday you're going to be a big muck-a-muck in camp. And to this day, we can thank Dave Brand that we're not walking around with t-shirts that say Camp Big Underpants. So when you get home, you'll know how Camp Echo got its name, just a little bit of history after 90 years, and I'm not getting the high sign from my producer. We're out of time, but you can take that history home with you, and remember, if you need me, you know where to find me. I'll be standing in the corner.